Yo, what's up guys, welcome back. The OCG, or at least the upcoming World Championship, the Yugioh World Championship will be held upcoming weekend, so August 4 and August 5. All participants are known, and you know, just like previous years, let's just do like a quick breakdown of every participant and of course which deck they used, or you know, how they were able to qualify for Worlds. I think it's interesting to have somewhat of like a small background of each participant when like watching at like the live stream from Worlds, to see, you know, from which country are they, which deck they used to qualify themselves for Worlds, etc. etc. So all links, all sources will be in the video description. The biggest source here, very much a lot of props to Road of the King for pretty much all this information, or bundling it to like one or two very easy to come, at least to look up pages. So again, all the links will be in the video description. As you know, Worlds upcoming weekend will be held in Japan, just like last year. During the weekend of 4 and 5 of August 2018, and as you know, it will have like a very, at least a separate ban list, somewhat of a special ban list. Like every year, pretty much every year, there's like a combination of both the TCG and the OCG lists. So as a lot of people are predicting, is that Koki is going to take the entire event, just because it's like one of those decks that's not really hindered with the combination of both the TCG and OCG ban list. I mean, if you look at Sky Striker got a hit on the OCG ban list, I believe, with something like the token generator being put to 1, for example, right? So again, Koki is one of those decks that has like the most predictions from players, I guess, including myself, right, to take the entire event. But we know the consequences of the deck that wins the World Championship, as in the ban list, right? Anyway, so for the competitors, again, let's, you know, just start off with Road of the King's analysis. Again, the link will be in the video description. Briefly, every team breakdown for the country or / place, yeah, where they qualified themselves for Worlds. The first one here is the world champion from last year. You know, winning Worlds last year was Tsujimura Ryosuke. As we all remember, he used dinosaurs to pretty much have like take the entire event. I believe he also won against Marcello Barberi in the semi-finals, I believe, with a super lucky top deck. I believe it was in game number 3, from what I can remember, like top decking the Conductor, I think. I believe one of his only outs, but anyway, so Tsujimura Ryosuke, the world champion from last year, of course, free invitation to this year's World Championship. And then for the rest, other competitors for Team Japan, let's go over to both their World Championship qualifiers. You know, Japan has 2, one from East Japan, one from West Japan. East Japan this year will represent 3 participants. The first one here all the way on the left will be Kage Ryota, and I think, no, I haven't mentioned it yet, but at least all 3 participants managed to qualify themselves with no surprises with Sky Strikers, of course. Here the qualifier, the World Championship qualifier from East Japan, had about 74 participants and was held in Tokyo on the 16th of June. So that's somewhat of yeah, some relevant information. So again, somebody at first place, second place we had Kage, and second place here we had Hasegawa Akira, also playing Sky Strikers, of course. Third place and also having a seat, or will get a seat, on the upcoming World Championship for Team Japan, and that's Hinkinson Louis Takashi. That's such like you know, a very easy Japanese name. So all of them, all 3 of these players qualified themselves using Sky Strikers. Fourth place, and I'm going to include this list, not qualified for Worlds, but you know, it was Koki with some spicy malicious tech, which you know, as you're probably remembering from like the OCG metagame breakdowns, it's quite popular for the OCG players of splashing and malicious, and you know, the Koki deck, for example, right, together with something like Armageddonite. Then we head over to West Japan. West Japan will at least will represent 2 participants, so 2 people. The first one here is Arikawa Ryuhei, using or qualifying himself with Performapal Magician, as you see here, since As you know, the OCG ban list still has Joker, limited at 1 of course, with triple Astrograph Sorcerer, one can dream here in the TCG. A couple of Ash bosses in the main deck, triple Electromite, right? So all cool stuff. First place, second place. We had Okamoto Taishi, no surprise, qualifying himself for Worlds with, you know, Sky Strikers, but no surprise here. West Japan qualifier was held on the 23rd of June, so pre their new list, by the way. And they only had like 74 participants, so that's not a lot. But still, both these players will also represent Team Japan at this year's World Championship. Then, let's head over to Korea. For their World Championship qualifier, at least the South Korean World Championship qualifier, was held on July 1st, 2018 in Seoul, and only the first player, at least the first place, the winner of this event was qualified for Worlds. His name, Jong Song Chul. Again, my apologies if I mispronounced it. No surprises here for his deck list. He qualified himself using Sky Strikers, playing the mirror match in the finals. Third place was Altergeist, fourth place was Spirals. But again, only one participant here from South Korea. Then we head over to the Asia Championship 2018. This is one of the more recent tournament held on July 31st, so a couple of days ago actually. This is a very exclusive tournament with only 17 participants. That's not really a lot, but as you know, the Asia Championship, you're only allowed to participate here in the championship if you already got, like, I think only first place at one of their qualifiers, the Asia Championship qualifier. So a very exclusive tournament. And then, as we see here, 17 duelists from like Hong Kong, Malaysia, the Philippines, Singapore, Taiwan, Thailand, and so on. This was again a very small tournament of only 4 rounds of Swiss, and of course top 8 single elimination, and then both first and second place qualified themselves for Worlds. The first one here, first place, we had Lao Wang Fong, no surprise, using Sky Strikers of course, and then second place we have Wang Chia Ching. Again, my apologies if I mispronounce that, but he managed to qualify himself with Trickster, so again not really a surprise, although main decking Cyber Dragon, so that's a very cool deck, I guess. That's pretty much it for Team OCG, if I'm not mistaken. Now we go to Team TCG, I guess, for the Oceania. At least we start with Australia. Team Oceania, first and second place. First place was Po Jiang. Again, my apologies if I mispronounce it. He got first place with Mech Knight, Sky Striker, Tricksters. I believe his first place deck list was never released. I mean, the third place list was released. Very similar, of course, with Mech Knight, Sky Striker, Tricksters, but first place list wasn't released, so I can't give you that. Second place we had Bodan, of course, with Sky Striker, Tricksters, no surprise, I guess. Again, very similar to pretty much most duelists here from us, TCG, that qualified themselves for Worlds. So that's pretty much it for Team Oceania. Then we go to North America, so the North American World Championship qualifier. First of all, we had Ryan Yu. That name might ring a bell. I believe he was a Dragon Duel World Champion from last year using Chainburn. I think we all remember that from last year, one of last year's highlights, I guess. Ryan Yu now able to participate in the main event, of course, as for Team North America. And then the couple of players that were able to qualify themselves through the World Championship qualifier from North America, we had, of course, Gabriel Antonio Vargas using the Sky Striker Goki list, pretty much setting itself up for us European players, right, with the European Championship 1 week after the North American World Championship qualifier. Then we also had Walter Jewell playing the Mythical Beast Supreme King Magicians, of course. Then we had Isaiah Kirk Joseph also using Sky Striker, Tricksters, and last Brian Rios. Again, my apologies if I mispronounce it, using Mech Knight, Sky Striker. Tricksters, of course. And then, like pretty much every year, I think, North America also representing 2 players thanks to one of the more recent and new systems, as you know, is the World Qualifying Points of 2018. The first one here from Canada, we have Jesse Dean Cotton. If I'm not mistaken, Jesse won YCS London earlier this year, early 2000, at least late 2017, so definitely a big name, at least here for North America. And the second player we had Ryan Levine, also I believe YCS winner. Is it YCS, was it YCS Sydney? I think so. So I also think Ryan has a couple of YCS stops under his belt, so also definitely a big name here at the upcoming World Championship. So that's pretty much it for Team North America. Let's go to Latin America, starting off with at least the Central American World Championship qualifier. We have Roger Guzman Garcia. He qualified himself using Sky Striker Trickster. Again, no surprises, I guess. Next, we also have the South American World Championship qualifier with the winner here, Jefferson Salas Reina. He qualified himself, again, first place, using Mythical Beast Supreme King Pendulum Magicians, I guess. So one of the few Pendulum decks that, well, got the qualification for this particular player. So moving to Worlds, right? So props to him as the South American champion, right? And then also a couple of 2 players actually qualified themselves for Worlds using again the World Qualifying Points. The first one here should ring a bell. We have Alejandro Garcia Moreno. I believe he also participated Worlds last year, and if I'm not mistaken, he was also the YCS champion. Was it Costa Rica back in 2016? So again, quite of a big name participating Worlds, and I think for a second time. Again, correct me if I'm wrong. And who here? We have a powerhouse also representing Latin America indeed. We have Galileo. I mean, if I'm not mistaken, this should be his 4th Worlds at least I think this is the 4th time that Galileo is going to participate in Worlds, so a huge force here to be reckoned with for at least the other players participating at Worlds. So Galileo, I believe his 4th qualification for Worlds. And then let's end with our own team Europe. Again, we had our Europe, at least our European Championship a couple of weeks ago. It was won by Luke Parks from the UK using Gokis, of course, very similar to, of course, the North American World Championship qualifier. Second place, we had Francesco Simoncelli using the Sky Striker Tricksters. Again, no really surprises here, I guess. And then, of course, 4 players qualified themselves as one of the few bigger countries here in Europe using the World Qualifying Points. First of all, France, we have Loan. Loan, for me at least, is a familiar face, familiar name. He's also or at least he was the Belgium national champion of a couple of years ago. He has, I think, a couple of YCS tops as well, but I'm not really sure if he won a YCS. I don't think so. Next, we have Joshua Smith. This guy doesn't need an introduction, right? He also participated in Worlds a couple of times before, same like last year, qualifying himself for Worlds using the World Qualifying Points. Next, from Italy, we have Matteo Mordanini. From Italy, again using the World Qualifying Points, at least I think he has a couple of YCS stops. His biggest stop, at least from a YCS, was last year, I think, from YCS Rimini, second place, I guess, with Zodiacs. And last but not least, also from the UK, again using the World Qualifying Points, Darren Stevenson, also qualifying himself for Worlds using this new, quote-unquote, new point system. So these are all our World participants, so good luck, of course, to Team Europe. Again, feel free to leave your predictions. First of all, who is going to win this World's, at least the upcoming World Championship? Is Team OCG or Team Japan again getting another victory, another win at this year's World Championship? Or is Team Europe or Team North America or any of the other players going to take this win? Or which deck is going to win? I mean, a lot of people are saying Gokis, but still, there are still a couple of other options left. Okay, guys, that's it. Thanks for watching and feel free to leave a comment or like if you enjoyed the video. Likim signing out. Peace.